Today, it's a splendid day because we have a splendid violent program. That splendid refer war, that violent refers, sorry, that splendid refer peace, that violence refers war. So here, war versus peace. Actually, we have to take a controversial topic for a debate. We put it title as a big debate, but it is going to be a discussion because no one supports war. We know that, but anyway, still we have to see the all aspects. So for that, we have some eminent people in our studio to discuss on this topic. First of all, Dr. Vijaykumar Salvia, an educator, entrepreneur, public figure. He has so many qualities. He is an advisor to many organizations, and he himself leading his own organizations, having his presence in our studio. It makes good. And Dr. Inga Kharchilava from Georgia. She herself has a personal experience regarding this war and peace. So having her presence in our studio for this debate really is going to be make this program better. And Professor Hardeep Singh, sir, he is a multi-dimensional personality. He can justify any topic. Such a knowledge he has. So having his presence to analyze the current trends on war versus peace, really it's going to add a great momentum to this debate. So we start this program with actually why peace is important. War versus peace, the topic is. Actually, what is the importance of peace? What is the importance of global peace? Why should we discuss this topic? So, naturally, we start this program with Vijay Salvia ji. Vijay Salvia ji, over to you. Say why the peace is important. Can you answer this question?
Yes. Thank you, Dr. Raja Rao. See, the timecenter.com is very, we can say, a great initiative always taken by the Dr. Raja Rao. And you know the peace, everybody wants peace. And now as why peace is necessary. So as with respect to, we can say, the humanity and also with respect to the survival, the existence of life, the peace is very important. The peace is not, we can say, just we can say a shanti. जैसे कि if we are Indians and with respect to, we can say, peace and silence and we can say the consistency. So the peace-based development, the peace-based sustaining, the peace-based always aggressive to be always we can say active, and it also encourages the living organisms plus non-living organisms to adopt situations which is useful for everyone. So as we are seeing, easily we are seeing that whatever in a world like Ukraine, Russia, and whatever the we can say different countries are arguments, and also there is a disputes between them. So in a world, if we see the all histories, always when peace in the world, it always gives the development. It always gives the continuous sustaining life. So with respect to the continuous sustaining life, with respect to whatever we have the childs, the women, the very innocent people, innocent animals, and whatever the resources we have in a world, in air, in water, in ocean, a large amount of resources, metals. So actually, if we want to, we can say, a development of each other, the first thing we have to develop it for each other. Then if we have such type of feeling, such type of motivation, then we can say, yes, peace is necessary. So that's why, according to me,
okay. Can you say in one or two sentences, what do you mean by peace? Of course, you have given elaborated information. We don't know where we are supposed to stop. Can you say in one or two sentences, what do you mean by peace?
The peace-based, if we say peace-based, the the silence in the disputes and execution for development. This is peace.
It's a great, it's a great. So now we have Inga Kharchilava, doctor from Georgia. She has a personal experience regarding this war and peace. She has personally witnessed in between Russia and Georgia. So let us speak to Dr. Ingaji. Ingaji, what do you say? Why this world peace is important? Can you say what is your answer as you have an experience with this? Please.
Welcome everyone from Georgia. Thank you so much that invited me. Very, very important topic for me. Thank you so much. War is an indescribable problem that I went through, and I want to share these emotions with you. For all, childhood is a beautiful year and a colorful vivid memory. That what they took away from me at the age of 8 and ruined my childhood. Thousands of children with me were deprived of the beautiful years of childhood. They become orphans and we are put in terrible stress. Many people were taken away from their homes and expelled to a complete and familiar environment. For some, the familiar environment was not even familiar because they become victims of the war. Childhood is a black line for me and painful memory. Yes, I saw how the blue sea was painted red. I could hear the buzzing of bullets the morning of mothers whose children were killed. The prayers who wanted warriors for survival. I saw all this in the hospital where my mother worked. She fight with her staff until the last minute and try to save the wounded. We lived in the hospital all the last months and took care of the lives of hero soldiers. Finally, our military took us to a peace zone, and since then, I have not seen my region and my house now. Yes. Now, I still feel the same as seeing the footage of the war in Ukraine. Is an unbelievable pain for me. Yes, really. I feel the pain of every child out of stress. I went through the something. My heart cries because I felt the pain of each child. Please stand together and raise your voice to stop this bloodshed. Stop taking the life of innocent people. Oh my God. A story like this in 21st century is truly incredible. It all has to stop or we will make more sacrifices. We society today admire and support the peace of Ukraine. Meanwhile, innocent people are dying. God protects all of us and give us the strength to endure this difficult situation and lighten the life of the enemy. Amen. Peace is the highest good that people want in this world. Peace is very, very important. We must all fight together of peace. War is the real hell, which I saw with my own eyes, and thousands of children and people are experiencing the something now. Thank you.
Really, that's so great. Your opinions are very valuable. Thank you, Ingaji. Thank you so much. Really, actually, we have arranged this program because of the situation in Ukraine only. Because
Yes.
no one talks about Ukraine at present. Because especially the media. Because people will start recognizing it when media recognize it. So media in the beginning of that war, it did so much of fuss, but nowadays we cannot see anywhere about the news. But still, the war is progressing. Many people are getting killed.
Yes, my country's 20% is occupied from Russia, and also my region now,
Yes,
Abkhazia.
really. We know the value of, because we have peace. We know the value of peace when we see the victims. When we see the situation of the victims only, then only we recognize the value of peace. Until unless we think it is some crazy word, that's all. So anyway, we'll go to our Professor G, Hardeep Singh. Sorry. Sir, what according to you, peace, and what is the importance of peace in the present situation? Can you please elaborate it?
Yes. Thanks, Dr. Raja Rao, for inviting me on this platform for this nice talk. Good evening, Dr. Vijay Salvia and Dr. Inga. So, peace. Peace enriches our communities and individual lives as it directs us to embrace diversity and support one another to the fullest extent possible. Through caring, generosity, and fairness, we provide a cornerstone for attaining a sustainable, meaningful, vibrant, and fulfilling personal and community life. Word peace also contributes to cultural exchange. People are able to interact freely with each other and they can learn different cultures from each other. Today, nowadays, everybody is talking about sustainable development goals, SDGs. There are 17 SDGs, but to achieve those SDGs, to achieve those sustainable goals, we cannot achieve that sustainable development goals in the case of war. Peace is very much important to move a way towards the sustainable development goals. Another very important thing that is required to survive on this world, on this planet, that is economy. For the economic development of the nations, this peace is very much necessary. If there will be war, we will not be able to maintain that economical condition of the country, of the nation, of the world. So for economic development of any nation, that world peace is very much important. It is essential for the economic development for all the countries in this world. Even some countries of the world have invented dangerous weapons, missiles, everything. They are looking for a moment that they will destroy everything. But when they will destroy everything, their selves will also be destroyed. And when there will be nobody to live on, where will go that sustainable development goals about which we are talking? We are doing talks every day. We are doing conferences for SDGs, but there will be a world war, nothing will survive, and we will not be able to move towards the sustainable development goals. And lastly, I would like to say that we all love a happy family life where we can live happily. So our family in which we live with our kids, with our parents, that is a family. Then in the city where we live with our, you can say, fellow citizens, that is again a family. Your nation is a family, and this world is a very big family in which we should enjoy to live, not to destroy others. We should love our brothers, sisters. Every person living in this world is our brother, sister. We should love this universe, love this nature, and we should walk towards the world peace, not war. That's
very good, sir. Very good. Yes, it's a family. We can say my family, our family, because it's a global family. So it is our responsibility to protect it. Sir, Vijay Salvia, sir. Sir, Vijay Salvia, sir. You have
Yes.
to predict it rightly. What is happening between Russia and Ukraine? Does it lead to Third World War? Do you think that this generation can see Third World War? What do you say in the context of Russia and Ukraine?
Sir, between the Russia and Ukraine, their dispute is only because of the resources, and also to that is to what monopoly.
One thing, resources are whatever it may be, the war is happening. We have to accept that. It is killing
Yeah.
many people. Are you justifying the war of Russia with Ukraine? Are you supporting Russia in this context?
I am not supporting anyone, but the main thing is that the methods, whatever the methods they are adopting to solve the disputes, that is the wrong method from both sides. However, though from one side, though who have taken a wrong steps in a first, we can say first method, then in a second method, there will be a replication of the other party. So like that, this war happens. That is the cause of this war. So whatever the first, we can say the.
Once again, who caused the war? Who caused the war? Either Russia or Ukraine. Who caused the war? Who is the reason behind the war? Russia or Ukraine? What do you say?
If we say the first, that is the main thing. The Ukraine has adopted the negative methods. That's why Russia is turned into a forceful method. That is
Okay. So, do you think does this war lead to Third World War, or what are the consequences of this war?
Yes. If this war is not settled, or if there is no solutions, or if there is, we can say, compromises between the two countries, then it leads to a Third World War, because the Russia and Ukraine nowadays a base of very technological world, and they have so many connections with all the we can say the countries which are existing and the topmost countries, development country. So what happened when there will be no compromise between them, then it will lead to the third one will be the, we can say, very dangerous for us.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much. Inga ji, what do you say about the war between Russia and Ukraine? Do you think does this war lead to Third World War? Or what do you say?
Oh, very interesting question. Thank you. Several months have passed since Russia in invasion of Ukraine, and it is becoming increasingly clear that the occupier will not be able to achieve its goal. The joint struggle of the Ukraine people, the armed and the government is excited the world more and more. The issue of Ukraine was discussed at the NATO summit and the meeting in Brussels. Yes, how effective is the help of the West, and how can the troubled war be avoided? Unfortunately, today we are in the conditions of the Third World War, really. War is not only about soldiers, tanks, and planes. War has many aspects, both worldview and economic and military, tactical, and strategic, and so on. Almost the whole world is involved in this war. First of all, the worldview dimensions is important, which means the confrontation between two ways of development of the world. This is a fundamental contradiction. One way implies a world in which all are free and equal, and the other a world in which the strong have the right to oppress and subject in the weak. Now these two will call it and decide where the world will go. Hopefully, I think in the right way.
Yes,
Thank
it's
you.
a war means not only fighting, killing army. It's economic consequences will be very brutal because nowadays we are having that gas cylinder at 1100 rupees, but one day it will become 11,000 rupees. You believe it or not? So 11,000 rupees one cylinder. You know, just imagine, because if we go to 4 or 5 years back, if we say 1,000 rupees cylinder, it won't be impossible. But now it has become true. If we ask or if we demand because of the war situation, then if you see the oil packet, it has become 200 rupees. One day it will become 1,000 rupees. So the common people are struggling. The common people are struggling, and there are so many consequences. The war is happening between Russia and Ukraine, and the rise of prices are happening here in India. So we are seeing consequences. So Hardeep Singh sir, what do you say? How do you see the war between Russia and Ukraine? How will it last? And what are the consequences of this war? And does it lead to Third World War? What is your opinion about that?
It is really a very important question according to this platform, according to this today's evening debate, that how close we are to World War III.
Yes.
So, as an academician, educator, researcher, we talk about anything, any topic. We every time learn from our past
Yes.
experiences.
Yes,
You
really,
know,
really.
when we do research, we do some reviews of literature review of the previous paper,
Because we can
previous
analyze, we
researchers.
can think. Yes, perfect.
Yes.
Perfect.
So I think it is very important to remember that the things like the First World War and the Second World War actually began with localized conflicts between regional major powers and minor powers of the world. World War One began because of a fight between Siberia and the Austro-Hungarian Empire that then drew into other countries. One country or two countries, they cannot lead to world war. World War II arguably began when Germany invaded Poland and other countries came to Poland's defense. In real life, in our personal life, we see that two friends fight, then his supporters come, other person's supporters come, then there is a fight. Same is the condition of world war, that there is a conflict between two countries and their supporters are divided. One A side supporter and B side supporters, and the war starts. So I don't think necessary to this world war, but world wars are defined by their broad scope, by the sheer number of countries involved. And so even if the United States stay on the sidelines, there is some potential for escalation, some potential for World War III. It all depends upon the situation, that what the major powers of the world they think about. They think that world war is important, necessary, or they think about peace. Because the major power, the huge power, this is the law of the nature, that major power wins and the minor power or minor people, they are destroyed. They go out of the play. So this all depends upon the major powers like US and other countries. So we should not think, or we should not think that there should be a World War III. Rather, we should pray to the Almighty, to the God, that there should not be World War III, so that we can walk towards the development of the nations, development of the world. So according to me, we should not move close to the world war. We should rather love peace and love everybody, love each other. Thanks.
Yes, yes, that's good, sir. But I'm thinking that the World War has already started. The day when Russia attacked Ukraine, I'm thinking that I have been thinking that the war has started, the Third World War has started. But we don't know, we are not yet realizing the fact, because these two are not fighting to their maximum potential. Of course, the war is happening, but not to the fullest. We don't know when it takes a turn, a sudden turn that happens in a single fraction of a second. Either it throws the bomb on Russia, Russia throws the bomb on Ukraine. But when in a fraction of a second, the scenario will be changed. So the world should not watch this, because if they think the war is between these two countries, it's not going to be like that. The scenario changes in seconds. So for that, after Second World War, we have United Nations. So we have to think about United Nations. You believe it or not, Donald Trump commented on United Nations. It is just meant for awards and celeb parties. Just United Nations meant for parties and awards. That is what the comment of former president of United Nations, Donald Trump. It sounds like a fact, you believe it or not. Because if you see the things, because they have United Nations peacekeeping force, they can do anything. 196 nations support to the UN. But still, even after months, the war is going on, but no results. So at this moment, we have an expert, Vijay Salvia ji. Sir, Vijay Salvia sir, what do you say? What is the role of United Nations in preventing the wars? Do you think that United Nations is justifying its role and responsibility in preventing wars? What is it doing when the war is happening between Ukraine and Russia?
Yes, sir. United Nations has a great role, and United Nations is only made after a Second World War to solve whatever the disputes between the countries. Between the Ukraine and Russia, the history is after a Second World War, it was the arising that with respect to NATO and with respect to the whatever the developed countries, they want to take up the Ukraine as a member of the NATO. And, but there is a problem of Russia that is if all the developed countries get a place in Ukraine, then they will situate all the missiles and it will be the danger for the Russia. So this problem is a very old problem from a First World War, then Second World War. So United Nations is only arising to solve whatever the problems and to maintain the peace between the countries. So yes, United Nations is only the way to compromise between the two countries, and the solution is only we can say hindered by the United Nations. So all the countries should take part in the United Nations, and there will be, we can say, no veto power to everyone. If there will be a veto power to some countries, then it may again exist, again continue the war. So United Nations to take up the action to solve the problem between Ukraine and Russia.
Wow, that's so nice. Inga ji, what do you say? Is United Nations doing its job or not? What is your opinion?
Oh, thank you so much. This is a really also very important question. Okay, the United Nations is a truly unique international organization that was established after World War II to measure world peace and security, establish a friendly relation between states, and establish social progress, better living standards, and protects human rights as development goals of the world community. During its half century of existence, the United Nations has played a truly unique role in the health and development of the world community. During the last year, international law taught the United Nations has developed more and more in the entire past history. The main principles of international law established by the United Nations become the basis for the future development of humanity. It is significantly promoted and development institution established a respect for universal human rights. The development programs developed by him have significantly raised the standard of living in poor and developing countries. Yes. He made a special contribution to the fight against such global problems as poverty, unemployment, environmental protection, international crimes, drugs, and more and more. According to the UN Charter, the Security Council is the core of the UN, the body primarily responsibility for ensuring international peace and security. The Security Council works almost continuously on crisis situation created in the world. The council played a major role in resolving many regions' conflicts. Example of a successful peacekeeping mission in recent years include the end of the Iran-Iraq War 1988, the end of the Civil War in El Salvador 1992, also Cambodia 1993, also peacekeeping missions of Mozambique 1994. Really great war job, yes, as Angola 1995. And even now, I really hope
Yes,
that
yes.
this
Inga ji,
war
at present, can you tell me the present what it is doing in between Russia and Ukraine? Okay.
And another important to the UN list on conflict resolution. I think
Okay. Sir, Hardeep sir, according to Professor Hardeep Singh ji, let us listen to him. What is the contribution of United Nations in solving the or in preventing the wars? Do you think is it doing its job perfectly or not? What is your opinion?
Yes, a very typical question that you have asked, that role of United Nations in this world peace. And the United Nations that accomplishes the work by to prevent conflict, helping parties in conflict make peace, deploying peacemakers, and creating the condition to allow peace to hold and flourish. These activities often overlap and should reinforce one another to be ineffective. Over the decades that United Nations UN has helped to end numerous conflicts, often through actions of Security Council, that is an organization with the primary responsibility under the United Nations Charter for the maintenance of international peace and security. It also deploys UN peacekeeping operations to reduce tensions in the troubled areas, keep opposing forces apart, and create conditions for sustainable peace after settlements have been reached. The Council may decide on enforcement measures, economic sections such as trade or collective military actions. So I will say that United Nations that is playing a unique role for maintaining this world peace, and I hope it is doing its duty and it will do at its
We do
best.
hope so. We do hope so.
Yes.
That's great. That's great. Anyway, we come to a conclusion. We'll ask you the last question. Salvia sir, okay, we should not talk about the governments. We should not talk about Zelensky or Putinji. We talk about our approach, human approach. What we people should do for a world peace, for a better world, or a for world which is prosperous. What is your opinion, sir? What is the human approach to world peace, where everyone can feel safe and where everyone can live happily? What do you say, Salvia sir?
Yes. Actually, with respect to if we are saying the Ukraine, Russia, and whatever the disputes between the other countries, we have to solve the problems with respect to the only thing is that the countries are arguments or disputing or any war is only for the whatever their needs they want and whatever their desire is. So a desire is only for the people. However, if it is the desiredness of some leadership or some person, then every person should track on that whatever the personal desire and should leave that desiredness and work for the country, work for the people. With respect to the common people, if we say in a Sri Lanka, if there is some, we can say the desire of some person that the common people and the people of Sri Lanka has overruled the whole system and whole whatever we can say the political system there. So just like we can say the literacy and the awareness and also every person, whatever we the expert, the very literate and technological person like you, like other experts and all, we should accumulate, we should work for the development and we should work just like we have the research innovation startup university, you have timecenter.com, you have the Royal Council, we have the International R&D Creative Organization, we have the Happiness Club International, we have SDG Club. So come, join and work and talk to such United Nations people, talk to the disputed countries, whatever they want, whatever similarly, whatever the leaders they have, they are those who want the peace there. So if we accumulate, we confine to each other, then we will have the solutions. And similarly, what the common people wants, then we have to work for that. That peace, that happiness will come. And similarly, everyone should have the first, we can say, a soft corner with respect to the family, live with family with a sustaining life. If such type of, we can say, mentality in each person, then I think and I believe that the 50% of the reduction of the probability of war will be decreased and will be also the whatever the disputes, it will be decreased. That we have to do.
That's good. That's good. Inga ji, last question to you. How can we solve all these problems? What is the human approach to global peace?
It is for me.
Inga ma'am, Dr. Inga ma'am. I think there is some problem. Hardeep sir, the question is to you. What is the human approach to solve all these conflicts? How can we make peace on earth? Sir, you are muted, sir.
Yes. Human approach to world peace. The first and very important thing is that, first of all, we all should become an human being, a good human being. And when you become a human being, a good human being, then there is no world of war. We do not think about war. First thing is that we all should become human beings. Then we will talk about human approach to world peace. World peace or peace on earth is the concept of ideal state of peace within and among all people and nations on the planet Earth. It is an essential element for the realization of all human rights, and peace is also one of the human rights. Peace is a product of human rights. The more a society promotes, protects, and fulfills the human rights of its people, the greater the chances of curbing violence and resolving conflicts peacefully. Now comes what human can do, how human can approach for world peace or to curb this war. First thing is that I will say that firstly, we all should respect the SDGs, 7 Sustainable Development Goals that have been set up by United Nations. First is that bring about true equality between women and men, that is fifth Sustainable Development Goal, gender equality, share out wealth fairly, tackle climate change. If there will be a war, we will talk about war, the whole climate that will be destroyed, and we will not be able to work on SDG 13. Control arms sales. That is SDG 16, peace and justice, strong institutions that should be set up to end this war. And human is the only weapon who can do this to for world peace. Then protect political space. Then, and one thing more, that is that we have to kill ego inside, internal ego that is sitting inside, that is pushing us towards the war, that we should do war, we should win this war. We have to end that ego that is inside us, that we are the major power, we have more arms, more ammunition, and we can destroy the minor countries or the minor nations. We have to kill that ego. Then second thing, that we have to respect our passion. When every person, every human being, he will be working on his passion, he will working on his interest, he will be so much busy that he will not have time to think about war, to do war, to talk war, and automatically he will go towards the peace. And last thing is that we should have true ethics inside us. Ethics tells us what is right and wrong, and true ethics really tell us what is truly right and what is truly wrong. So there should be true ethics in the human beings. According to me, this is the only human approach towards the world peace, that we should respect passion, we should kill ego, and there should be true ethics in ourselves. And lastly, I will say that we all should respect the Sustainable Development Goals, 17 SDGs set up by UN. That is the only solution, only human approach towards the world peace. Thanks.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Today we have all beautiful answers because all are intellectuals, those who joined today to the debate. But we know that it is not at all a debate, it is a discussion, because we know that there is no one is supporting the war. No one supports war. In movies only we enjoy the wars. If you see Bahubali or some other movie, we enjoy the wars, but in real life, it's no. Because the people who are living at borders, they know the consequences. Really very pathetic situation. Every day they suffer a lot. So we should see that God has blessed each and everyone with the equal gifts. So everyone should be happy. So it is possible when leaders think in that way, because Hitler, where his childhood was abused. Hitler, in his childhood, he was abused. He was abused by his father. So he was the one who started his journey to destroy the world with Second World War. Today we are seeing Putin. Of course, today there are so many people who are supporting Putin. Of course, there are people. But it's Putin or whoever he may be, we should not support the oppressor. We should not support the oppressor. Whether it is Putin or it is Biden, whoever he may be, we should, the people, as a citizen, we should not support the oppressor. Because if we support today, tomorrow they will come to us. At that time also we have to support. So we should be very careful, because we people are very vulnerable. People are very vulnerable, especially women and girl children. Women and children, not girl children, women and children, they are so vulnerable. If something happens to the head of the family, all the family suffers. So this is what, because if you see the war between Russia and Ukraine, thousands of thousands of soldiers are being killed every day. Of course, we don't know how far we are getting all the information, but this is what happening. So, you know what is happening with their families? They are silently suffering. No one bothers. So, in future, we'll see some excellent movies on the war between Russia and Ukraine. So, we enjoy it, and we can give them good collections and all. So, it is our responsibility as a citizen to raise our voice against war. At least we have to speak out. At least we have to speak up. Thank you all excellencies for joining. Vijay Salvia sir, you are all-time legend, because whenever we make you a call, you will be there. Thank you so much. Hardeep Singh,
Thank you.
sir,
Thank you,
fantastic,
sir.
sir, fantastic. Inga ma'am, thank you for being as an international guest, and the insights you have shared, really, they deserve a lot of attention. Thank you so much. And there are so many programs to come in coming days, because we are continuing the series with the different titles, because we are throwing light on several international issues in coming programs. Will make them, will make people educated from this platform. Thank you so much.